Hello, this is the RPG Crawler, and welcome to my RPG News Roundup for April 6th, 2024, where each week I take a look back at the week in tabletop, computer, and console role-playing game news and bring you the highlights. With that said, let's take a look at computer and console role-playing games. It looks like Unforetold Witchstone is being delisted from Steam and is now approving refund requests. Or it has been over the last week. I'm not sure if that's still ongoing. For those who purchased it, this is largely because the game ceased production shortly after a forced launch, so the entire thing pretty much went poorly. If you do wish a refund after ordering this game, you'll have to follow a very specific direction in order to retrieve it. Class of Heroes Anniversary Edition and Class of Heroes 2G Remaster are looking to get a release on April 26th. These are remasters of the PSP era set of dungeon crawlers, at the very least inspired by, but I think they were actually derivative of, the Wizardry series back in the day. Turn-based tactical RPG King Arthur Legion 9 looks to release on May 9th. Originally supposed to be an expansion to King Arthur Knight's Tale, it's going to be a standalone release set on Avalon, where you play the leader of the 9th Legion of Rome, leading a demon army. Wuthering Waves is set to release on May 22nd. Targeting the PC as well as mobile platforms, it will be an open-world action RPG where you awaken in a world 100 years after a calamity has hit. Scald Against the Black Priory is set for release on May 30th. It is a retro RPG inspired by grim dark fantasy as well as Lovecraftian horror. It will target the PC. Disgaea 7 is set to get an enhanced version on July 25th, at least in Japan. Targeting the Switch, the PS4, and the PS5, it will include all of the DLC plus a new story. There's no word yet on whether this will come to the West, although I assume it will. And I've got to assume that simply because I just bought the original one, and now they're announcing this one. Oh well. Plague Lords is set for release in quarter 3 of this year. It looks to be a turn-based strategy RPG where you are investigating disappearances in the middle of the Black Death. Flint, Treasure of Oblivion, has been announced for some time in quarter 4 of this year. Targeting the PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X/S, it will be set during the age of piracy and allows you to search for a legendary treasure. Mystical Tactics looks to release sometime this year. It will be a turn-based text RPG, turn-based tactical RPG, not text-based RPG, suited for the PC, set in a magical world where you train a squad of heroes and lead them into battle. It will have procedurally generated elements. As far as actual releases go, the action roguelike survivor-style game Pathfinder Gallowspire Survivors saw its release. Set in the world of Pathfinder, it has items and abilities inspired by the game, although it does not use those mechanics. Astra Knights of Veda saw its release. It is an action RPG side-scroller where a dark plague is hitting the world. It looks like one of those free-to-play gacha-style games, so be advised. Star Wisp Hyperdrive is an adventure RPG focusing on exploration where you find a home on an inherited spaceship. It is currently in early access. Quit Today is an action roguelite, not sure how much of an RPG it is, where you try to survive an extremely hostile working environment. Aexia is a VR role-playing game platform. It allows you to play as actors in a sort of movie set world built by other role players and game masters. It is in early access. Finally, there is Sons of Valhalla, an action strategy RPG with elements of base building set in a Viking age. It looks like it's a 2D side-scroller in appearance. Onward towards tabletop gaming news, we'll start with something that's not really news, but rather an interesting bit of information. Over on Enworld, they have an interview with someone who is involved with the RPG Creators Relief Fund. I actually didn't even know this existed, and it's useful enough that I thought I'd give mention of it here. The RPG Creators Relief Fund looks to basically raise money to use as an emergency support pool for role-playing game creators, many of which are in the industry at various levels. They do not have things like healthcare, financial safety nets, etc. So, hey, there's that. As for minor and PDF releases, Ponyfinder Best of the Best is available in print. A supplement for the Ponyfinder and suited for 5th edition and Pathfinder systems. It includes many new feats, various cantrips and spells, a new ancestry, etc. Samurai Sheepdog has Names Games April 2023 collection, a collection of Pathfinder compatible material from the releases back in April of last year. Adventure Ripples has Razor Winds, a 5th edition adventure suited for level 6 parties. It takes place within an ancient forest where female spirits conjure storms with a whisper. Watcher DM has Dragons and Dragons, a 5th edition compatible supplement that offers Castle Dracomon, a 3-tiered castle containing 5 Dragon Lords. It was written for level 5 characters. Kobold Press has You Find Yourself in a Forgotten Temple. It is a 5th edition supplement that is designed to help GMs create various lost tombs and sunken temples. Lost in Malice is a 5th edition compatible adventure suited for 2nd level characters. It is a mystery style adventure. The Icebound Keep is a 5th edition adventure for levels 3 to 5, where an ancient map leads to a mysterious castle shrouded in snow. Halo of the Blood Angel, Spawn of the Cursed Moon is a 5th edition adventure for level 12 characters, part of the Halo of the Blood Angel adventure path. The Leprechaun's Gambit is another 5th edition adventure. This one has the characters visiting an old friend in a quaint village where a mischievous leprechaun has stirred up trouble. Run the Darkness is a 5th edition one-shot themed around a total solar eclipse and has various things involving chasing shadows, etc. Adventures in Maxur, Setting Sail is a 5th edition adventure on the high seas. It can be played as a one-shot or an extended adventure, or as part of a nautical campaign. It is suited for level 4 characters. The Jade Leaf Jungle is available in print and is a 5th edition adventure made for 5th level characters. It takes place in a vast and dense jungle alongside an ancient temple. A Lesson Learned is a one-page wonder, a quick one-shot adventure about a brat trying to get attention and getting himself in trouble, all for 5th edition. The Hidden Paradise is another one-shot combined with a location for 5th edition. It details a ready-to-use location with encounters, and this one takes place in the heart of the Fey Plains. Things to Do in Slumbervale is a 5th edition sourcebook that covers the heart of the town of Slumbervale, offering various locations, story hooks, maps, and so on. NPC Archive Volume 1 is available in the Full Arts Edition now. It details various profiles for NPCs focusing on elves, dwarves, and humans. Character Backstories is available in both book and card format. It offers various character backstories for 5th edition. Zia's Codex of Subclasses, a 5th edition supplement that offers various kits and subclasses as well as fighting styles and spells. Heralds of the Paragon is a 5th edition supplement that offers new backgrounds and feats, as well as a monastic tradition that is inspired by a certain Sand and Spice science fiction content, although it is more made for fantasy. Cities of Centaur is just a straight-up sci-fi based material for 5th edition campaigns with new classes, a revamped race system, and more that can be plugged into your own or into existing sci-fi campaigns. Whispers from the Alley is an adventure for everyday heroes, which itself is a 5th edition modern-style system. This one deals with cryptic messages that speak of otherworldly horrors, or otherworldly occurrences, rather. The Tome of Ostabaris is an adventure for Shadowdark RPG. It's effectively a level 0 funnel that deals with the labyrinthine tomb of an old wizard king. There are a few entries into the Letters from the Dark series for Shadowdark. There is Mercenaries that details rules for playing mercenaries as well as pre-generated mercenary NPCs. And then Borderlands, which details a Borderland keep, its wilderness region around it, a couple dungeons, including a randomized one, rules for hiring NPCs, and so forth. Bardic Mischief has a few Shadowdark adventures. There's a Mind Fungus Tigers from the Wayward Moon, and then the Bacchanal. Wandering Wares is a supplement that details 40 magic items for Shadowdark. Goodman Games has Dungeon Crawl Classics number 104, Return to the Starless Sea. It is suited for the Dungeon Crawl Classics RPG. They also have the 5th edition versions of Dark Tower as well as the DCC RPG version that I covered last week. I don't know what the difference between this week's release is and last week's. I don't know. Prisoners of the Secret Overlords is a third-party Dungeon Crawl Classics RPG compatible adventure available in print. It is a science fantasy adventure that has the PC setting out to find a Duke's heir only to find themselves exploring a crashed spaceship. Sorceress Rites of the Elementals is a Dungeon Crawl Classics compatible supplement that offers the Elementalist class as well as various spells for it. Elven Tower has a set of one-page dungeons that are technically suited for Shadowdark and other OSR RPGs, but are generally system neutral. There is Chapel of Lost Letters, A Call from Below, Tomb of the Opal King, and Murder in the Winery. Land of Mist is available in print in the Old School Essentials format. It is a campaign setting and supplement inspired by classic tabletop fantasy worlds and includes character classes and races, various other options, procedures for underwater adventuring, as well as domain management and a mass combat system, dragon riding, and so much more. Fight On Publications has more of their magazines up from their backlog. There's issue number 1, way back from the spring of 2008, and then issues 9 through 14 from later years. Each one offers various material and articles for old school RPGs. D12 Monthly Issue 34 offers various classes for old school essentials, typically holy based characters, as well as multi-classing and kits. The Swamp Lights of Orestes is an OSR one-shot that details the happenings around a dreary marsh. It all starts with a mysterious light and goes on from there. It also contains material to support adventuring in the swamp in general. Infinite Black has a number of adventures for the 8-bit RPG OSR system. Now, I think I've covered that in the past, but I can't remember. They're situated around a mini mega dungeon, and I've probably scrambled these all. They're available in print individually. There's Marsh Rats, Tomb of Horror, Telltale Heart, Black Marsh Keep, Device Infernal, The Alchemist Elixir, A Light in the Black Marsh, a Face in the Shield, a Graveyard of the Witch, and Return to the Tomb of Horror. Grimrook, City of Old Skull, has a human artistry special edition, which just details a war-torn citadel of an overlord with a core setting book suited for pretty much any game system, along with NPCs, henchmen, quest hooks, and so forth. Maelstrom Island is available in print as an old-school campaign setting designed for Ambition and Avarice, 2nd edition, but generally OSR compatible. It details a large island and includes a hex crawl where the characters are shipwrecked survivors. Liber Creaturarum is a collection of 58 new monsters and creatures for Dragonbane, third party of course. They follow the basic rules template and have random encounters and adventure seeds with them. Hirelings is a rules-light fantasy heist role-playing game available in print. You play plucky hirelings who have uncovered the inside scoop on a magnificent magical treasure guarded by a fearsome foe. Warband is a fantasy role-playing game centered around a broken land. It is a dark fantasy game and has both a core book as well as a player's guide available. Cubicle 7 has Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, the Hanbrand Militia. It is a supplement that provides information and templates detailing the types of soldiers that may be found garrisoning settlements throughout the Empire as well as specific members of the militia. Wandering's Call, core rulebook, details a dark fantasy tabletop role-playing game based heavily around the soul and spirits, the paranormal, supernatural, and the dark of the awakened. You play as a wanderer who is drawn from odd occurrence to odd occurrence by a mysterious instinct investigating the paranormal. Savage Gladiators is an arena setting offering everything you need to run a campaign against the backdrop of the Roman Empire using the Savage Worlds system. Nirvana on Fire, Expanded Edition, is an adventure of sci-fi horror for the Mothership system. It builds on the original version and expands it into a full 32-page adventure with elements such as out-of-control biotech, Machiavellian schemings, and a potential revolution. The Bleeding Edge for Candela Obscura is a multi-pronged adventure detailing the search for a missing person and the discovery of a hidden lab. It's based on a cipher referenced in the core rulebook. Delta Green Meridian is available in print as a scenario for Delta Green, of course, which details two new recruits who are seeking a church too poor to follow the law only to run across something else entirely. Ganymede Outriders is an RPG detailing the settlements of Ganymede, inhabited by separatist gangs and dissidents, as well as the frost around it, which is a dangerous and lawless place between settlements. Leyline Press has some offerings for the Salvage Union, including the core rulebook itself. It is a post-apocalyptic mech tabletop role-playing game with simple mechanics where you play a salvager mech. A wasteland for just moving around a wasteland for salvage and scrap. Then they have scenarios for it, including False Flag, We Were Here First, and Rainmaker. Free League has a Blade Runner RPG, Fiery Angels, a sort of investigative scenario for the Blade Runner RPG, where the Blade Runners are assigned to question a suspect arrested while trying to infiltrate the Wallace Corporation memory vaults. Finally, there's Smokes and Aces, CPS Edition, another version of the Smokes and Aces 90s action comedy style RPG. I covered another version a little while back, so there's that. And with that, let's dive into RPG crowdfunding campaigns. Remember that contributing to a crowdfunding campaign should be done only at your own risk. Doing so is no guarantee of even receiving a product. Mentioning it is not an endorsement, but it is for informational purposes only. At least one video game RPG caught my eye this week, so we'll start with that, which is in Butchers, looked to be a Game Boy Color bullet hell RPG. Yeah, that's right, a sort of modern fantasy action shooter RPG, but for the Game Boy Color, it really just looks like more like a classic shoot 'em up with modern stylings and RPG elements. There is a playable demo available. Onward towards tabletop gaming, there is From Mugs to Riches, a level 1 to 5 5th edition tabletop adventure dealing with a pair of goblins who have grand ambitions for their new inn, but must build it from scratch. Infestation at Devil's Glade is an adventure for 5th edition. It looks like it will be a creepy crawly point crawl where a town is under attack by swarming insects. Architects of the Deep has Shadows Over the Bridge. It'll be a 5th edition adventure one-shot for 8 to 10th level characters. It deals with a party arriving in a coastal city where events have recently cut off the eastern regions from the rest of it. Lost Labyrinth, Secrets of the Pharaoh will be a 5th edition adventure for level 7 characters inspired by ancient Egypt. It deals with a mysterious individual who approaches the party with information about a labyrinth under a grand desert. Shadows of the Veil will be a 5th edition campaign for 1st to 8th level characters set in the Misty Vale, a place where darkness is descending. The party must face some malevolent forces that wreak havoc on the area. Secrets of the Misty Isles for 5th edition, a lot of secrets of this week. It'll be a 25-plus page adventure on the sea and islands. It looks like it'll focus on exploration of an island enshrouded in a mist that has suddenly appeared. Secrets of the Lost Catacomb will be a one-shot for 5th edition where 2 rangers recruit the party to figure out a mysterious chamber discovered in an abandoned mine. Domain of the Deathless King looks to be a series of 5th edition adventures that can be played solo or with a party with no need for a dungeon master. The Wandering Tavern will be a tabletop RPG setting with 5th edition stats inspired by Studio Ghibli. It details a tavern that floats through the skies. Loot and Lore 2, as well as Layers and Legends 2, looks to be a set of 5th edition resources that include many new adventures, new epic monsters, as well as new treasures. Secret Dragons will be an offering from Battle Zoo that details new dragons for 5th edition and Pathfinder 2nd edition. It looks like it'll include not only new dragons, but playable dragon ancestries, as well as specially named great worms, lore, and more. Field Guide to Floral Dragons looks to focus on plant-based dragons with legends, lore, biology, as well as stat blocks and magic items for 5th edition. Chronomancer's Codex looks to be an expansion for a Chronomancer-based 5th edition setting with various lore and rules for time travel. I think that I've already covered some other stuff from this person regarding Chronomancers. I'm not sure. NPC Archive Volume 2 looks like it's going to be a 5th edition compatible collection of detailed, ready-to-play NPCs, which I covered Volume 1 just now. This time focusing on Tieflings, Warforged, and Goblins. Folio of Familiar Faces looks like it's trying to fund a print run. This is a supplement that details various returning NPCs that can be leveled up and changed based on how the characters interact with them. 100 Curses and Diseases will be a 5th edition supplement that is exactly what it says, detailing various curses and diseases, their effects, how they spread, and how to cure them. Troll Hunter will be a small adventure for old school essentials set in a swamp with various halfling creatures. It will also include a troll generator. Domain's Dismal Oubliette is to be a selection of system-neutral dungeon geomorphs for rapidly assembling a dungeon map. I usually don't cover these. There's several things I don't cover. Map pieces, cards, and miniatures, or else I'd be here like literally all week. Elder Mythos role-playing game is to be a cosmic horror tabletop RPG, except you play the Lovecraftian entities that are looking to control the world rather than the investigators and other humans. Hauntings looks like it will be a tabletop role-playing game focused on locations, history, and investigative techniques that basically revolves around haunted areas. This looks familiar. Did I already cover this already? Anyway, I can't help but think that, as I said, I covered this point. Or maybe it's a new one with a very similar concept. Who knows? Street Wolves Turbo Edition will be a Savage World setting covering a sort of 80s-style synthwave-inspired realm. Behind the scenes is to be an RPG that emphasizes drama and spectacular situations where you play TV show characters across any genre. Finally, there is Slave Maids of Gamora 4, an action comedy RPG based on the Maid RPG by Chamomile. And on that note, I'm going to wrap things up here. Forgive me if I've been a little scattered. Number one, I had to sort a lot of stuff because during April 1st, a lot of really weird projects hit, and not all of them are worth covering, so if I missed anything, I'm sorry. Anyway, as always, links will be below. If you like what you've seen, remember to leave a like, comment, got feedback, and subscribe for more RPG content. Until next time, take care and goodbye. And if you are still watching, I would like to take the opportunity to thank my supporters, the top tiers of which are listed on the screen, without whose support I would not have been able to offer the variety of content that I have on this channel throughout the years. If you're feeling particularly generous and would like to join them, you can support the channel. There are a variety of options to do so. I have a Patreon, a Subscribestar, as well as channel memberships enabled. If you are not in a position to contribute, simply leaving a like, a comment, or sharing my videos are all wonderful ways to help the channel grow without spending a dime, and are all greatly appreciated.